A lady, who says she's a doctor, told me that I don't get a red throat from eating ice cream on a cold heavy winter. Is the fact that you are a doctor a joke? Out of curiosity, how many times have you eaten ice cream at -5 degrees? Outside at -5 degrees? How many times have you had the courage to give to your child ice cream at -5 degrees? I'm sure you covered him so you hardly saw his eyes. Why? Do you know why in the summer you walk almost naked, with your breasts and your ass exposed? And in the winter do you cover yourself with furs, blankets and everything you can find? Why do you drink iced tea in the summer to cool off and very cold drinks from the fridge, and in the winter you drink ginger tea especially to warm you up, or mulled wine, spiced wine? Because the human body has a certain temperature and the environment has a different temperature. And the human temperature must be kept constant. That's why in the summer you drink iced tea, or iced juice and cold beer, to cool off. And in the winter you drink hot tea, hot chocolate, or mulled wine, to warm you up. Do you know what happens to a warm body that enters into a cold space? Do you still remember the scene from the Titanic when the protagonists are having sex? Exactly. The windows steamed up. And no, it didn't get steamed because they had an orgasm. The windows fogged up because a thermal reaction took place. Fog, not fuck. And no, it's not something magical. It's physics. When a warm body enters into a cold space or is near another cold body, a physical phenomenon takes place, namely, a body gives off temperature, and as a supplement for blondes, the body that gives off temperature is the warm one. And the one that receives the temperature is the cold one. This phenomenon is called convection, and no, it's not a word invented by me. It's a word invented by physicists that you should have known since the 7th grade. So, thanks to convection, one body cooled down, another one warmed up. I started with convection, so that you will better understand conduction and what conduction means at the level of the throat, or at the level of the tonsils. So that you can see that I also know your job and the height of irony, better than you. Conduction is another term invented by physicists. I know it's a word too hard for you. But I'm trying to get down to your level to explain it better. If the convection was carried out in a space and the temperature transfer was carried out at a distance, the conduction carries out a rougher temperature transfer because it is carried out through direct contact. What does this entail? That is, the ice cream that is cold comes into contact with the tonsils that are warm and shocks them. Heat transfer takes place brutally, and the tonsils cool down brutally, suddenly. How does your hand feel when you put or pick up snow? Or do you put a warm hand on the ice? What sensations do you have? Or put your warm tongue on an iced metal, or doorknob? Please don't do that. Summer is completely different because the environment is too hot and the temperature exchange is easier, because the body does not struggle to heat up, as in winter. In summer it is warm in the heat. Although, there are some who catch cold in the summer too. I'm asking you how your hands feel when you work with your hands through the freezer to pick up frozen products to look for something specific. Now let me explain why your throat gets red from ice cream. Because the tonsils suffer a trauma, they get cold too quickly. They lose their thermal comfort too quickly. The trauma can be highlighted by redness in the throat, the first sign, then the increase in volume that highlights the inflammatory process. And from a simple tonsillitis, you can end up with a rather nasty cold or even a fever. Why? Well, lady doctor, you should know. Because the body is on alert and tries to protect itself. Immunology. The inflammation was not caused by a virus or a bacterium, as you said. In the present case, the tonsil inflammation occurred as a result of thermal trauma, and not because of dehydration. Although you expressed yourself wrongly in this case as well. For those who wonder what dehydration has to do with a red throat, none. The air humidity in the room, on the other hand, has. But the lady doctor doesn't know how to explain. The lack of humidity in the environment does not dry the man like the Pheon. Dry air only irritates the throat, and this process traumatizes. Having said that, how can you afford to say that the ice cream doesn't make your throat red, on a social media platform? So that people who don't have the same thermal comfort at home in the winter as you, listen to you. How do you allow yourself to present yourself on a social platform where there are also children? And to tell the children that they don't get a red throat from ice cream. When children are children, they are greedy and want ice cream. Can you imagine a mother who doesn't have summer temperature as you, in the apartment? Can you imagine how she will explain to her child that she can't give him ice cream because it makes his throat red, when you, as a doctor, wish them a good appetite? Yes. You can eat ice cream in any season, but you have to take several factors into account. Especially the ambient temperature, the temperature that surrounds the body. And warm up the body. And you, as a doctor, should have known that the body temperature is also dictated by nutrition, by ingested calories, because calories mean energy, and energy means heat. That's why some skinny people are excessively cold in winter. Such people are also a category of people who can react to a banal ice cream and make their throat red. Especially if they don't afford to warm up their apartment as you do. Such people are even more prone to inflammatory processes because they do not have strength, they do not have energy. Because they do not ensure their energy needs, either through nutrition or through sports. And this because energy is also realized through mechanical work. They do not have the necessary strength to ensure their thermal comfort and fight the inflammatory process. Leaving aside the fact that what I said are physics concepts from the 7th grade. Everything I said should be known. Okay, maybe I learned more physics than she did because physics fascinated me. But as a student at a medical school, you had to learn biophysics. About inflammatory processes, learn pathophysiology or immunology. So many disciplines that she, as a doctor, has no idea about. It's sad. And it's sadder when I think that there are so many medical practitioners like her. Until next time, stay safe, and don't forget to smile.